r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. What is the greatest design duck-up of the human body? Anaphylaxis. Your body will choke itself to death in an attempt to protect itself. If you take me down, I'm taking you to WN with ME. The awesome. There is an army of fully autonomous hunter/killer organisms inside us that will seek out and ducking obliterate anything harmful that they can identify as being a foreign threat. The minor suck when the identification goes awry and they fail to recognize a threat. The major suck when they decide a perfectly functioning internal organ is in fact a foreign invader. Autoimmune disorders are awful. Awful things. Source. My immune system is really quite effective. It did a scorched earth number on my own pancreas a few decades ago. What's that? A pancreas? Duck that thing in particular. The brain knowing it's doing wrong but still pushing itself to do it for some dopamine. Dopamine is one hell of a drug. Tinnitus. Hearing loss. Sure. But a lingering constant ringing? Duck that. That shouldn't be possible. I have extremely loud tinnitus 24/7. It sucks my energy away like nothing else. Worst thing is I'll never get to enjoy silence in my life ever again. When faced with substances it doesn't like, the human body can do some mild and annoying things such as make watery eyes and a runny nose similar to a cold or make uncomfortable hives on the skin. But it can also react severely and essentially close off its only method of breathing, causing suffocation. Worse, these substances can be literally almost anything, including water, the body's own sweat, certain foods, exposure to certain animals, and various plants, and they vary from one human to the next based on a variety of factors. Also known as allergies are stupid and ducking suck. This is underrated. How are allergies, specifically anaphylactic or other severe allergies, helpful in evolution? Doesn't make sense to me, and all it does is render you helpless. One that stood out to me is when my professor said we are terrible at detecting oxygen levels. Also, I think this is more evolutionary, but the fact that we respond to psychological problems with the flight or fight response. It's like we can't tell the difference. Body is just like, stress. Have some cortisol. Let's go. Body gets me ready to fight a tiger, but I just need to do my homework. Better yet, if you have an anxiety disorder of any kind, the brain is fighting tigers 24/7. This is more of a flaw in all terrestrial non-egg laying creatures than just humans. But the body uses a lot of energy converting the ammonia our body creates while breaking down proteins into urea so that it's less toxic and can be stored longer before being released in urine. Instead, why can't we just have a gland that stores the ammonia, then be able to spray it out? Not only would this save energy, but it would also provide an awesome poison spray attack. You can bite the inside of your cheeks and your tongue. And once you do, you're resigned to it happening over and over again because it swells. Fingernails are too damn fragile. Ripped off my goddamn fingernail last week. Not fun. As for toenails, you cut the big one wrong and boy does it hurt after being on your feet a long time. Y'all ever broke off the entire big toenail? That straight sucks. Or hit your nail real hard and it starts bleeding from the inside. There's nothing you can do about it. My tongue has some pretty epic showdowns with popcorn kernels. Strategic battle of wits. The spine. As a person with scoliosis, yes, I hate it. Body. Needs water. Knee. Drinks water. Body. Pees more water or you die. Body. Needs water. Body. Literally makes water in respiration. Body. Breathes out the freshly made water. Body. Dies from lack of water. Sometimes I choke on water. Sometimes I choke on the air I'm supposed to breathe. The knees. For a body part that needs to endure so much stress, they are also very delicate. It's one of the most commonly injured body parts, and it doesn't seem to heal well without surgical intervention. Tear a meniscus? Probably going to need surgery to get part of it cut out, since most of the meniscus doesn't have a blood supply and can't heal itself. Our knees do so much and take a crap load of stress every day. Do one little thing wrong or have one little thing not line up right and you hurt for the rest of your life. They also affect our feet, hips and back when they don't work right. They are easy to destroy on our enemy. It's great that they are hinged so we can walk and run and jump and crawl and all the other crap they allow us to do, but they are weak. After 14 years of constant pain and getting ready for my 8th knee surgery, I have days I wish my docs would cut my legs off above the knees and give me prosthetics. My pain scale starts at a 2. I will never see a 0 again in my life, and I'm not a candidate for a replacement. Because I have food poisoning right now, it would be how our body reacts to illness. I'm shitting straight water, have major stomach cramps and am gassy both ends, and I know that eating food and drinking electrolytes will help me, but my body doesn't want it. RIP. Feel better. Sacrum bone is just a ducked up tail and it really hurts if you fall on it. I've fractured my sacrum, don't recommend it. Horrific to recover from. I only half remember this, so hopefully someone can elaborate. Part of the human eye is arranged backwards. The optic nerve has to pass through it, which creates a blind spot. Some species have a more efficiently designed eye where this part is facing forwards. So the optic nerve just plugs into the back of it. The retina, which has light sensing cells, is at the back of your eye. The retina gathers information based on the light falling on it, and then sends it to the optic nerve, which in turn carries the information to the brain. Ideally, the optic nerve should be completely behind the retina, so that the entire back end of your eye can be covered with light sensing cells. And while this is true for octopuses and squids, cephalopods, we humans were just sort of unlucky with evolution in this regard. For us humans, the optic nerves are in front, and the part where the optic nerve sort of bundles and goes into the brain is the blind spot. This image I saw on C-Show might explain better. We are too squishy for combat. Humans. One little poke through the goop and it's all over. Bender. Neck and shoulders. Always in pain. Your brain that just randomly decides it wants to die. Mental illness. Specifically depression. You paradoxically want to isolate, immobilize, refuse to get help. The illness is parasitical and self-preserving. Until and if it wins with death. The fact that since humans started walking on 2 legs, a part of the female population would just straight up die during childbirth because of the stupid evolution of the hip bone. Walking upright was just more important for evolution than fitting those goddamn babies through the birth canal. Thanks nature. Evolution. I'm going to shift the hip bone so humans can walk upright and have their hands free to do smarter things. Brain gets bigger. Head doesn't fit through hip bone. Evolution. Oh. God. What have I done? Teeth. What the hell? I don't have to go twice a year to get my armpits scraped out lest they rot off. Having teeth is great. Only having 2 sets, with 1 set being your only set for most of your life, is so stupid. We need them replaced every 10 years at least. I think it's just too easy to kill us. One stupid, small thing and bam. The end. You have to poop. But it's not convenient right now. It's okay. There's a muscle you can squeeze to hold it. You have to pee. But it's not convenient right now. It's okay. There's a muscle you can squeeze to hold it. Your period starts. But it's not convenient right now. Well, guess what? Even though the uterus is basically made of muscle tissue, and one of its main functions is squeezing, you have no voluntary control over it. So you have fun bleeding all over the place. Edit. Whoa. Jeez. Hi everybody. Thanks for the gold. Oh man. I just envisioned a world where I could go to the bathroom to have my period and not have it any other time during the day. That would be so beautiful. Although with menstrual cups, that's pretty close. Hitting your small toe is really easy and hurts like hell. We don't gestate for as long as we should. We're near enough the only mammal that isn't up and about a couple hours after birth. And that's because we have to get pushed out at 9 months. If we were in there any longer, the mother would never survive childbirth. A strange evolutionary error that leaves us uniquely open to predators at our most vulnerable. Babies being so useless is the reason we're as advanced as we are. Our brains consume most of our energy at that age. And the neglect of size and motor skills is what allows our bodies to develop the brain power that make us what we are. How common it is for women to die during childbirth. WTF nature? I did what my hormones were begging me to do since I was 13. And you kill me for it? Wait. Are you dead? Toes are weird. They basically are like low quality fingers. They're actually designed that way for bipedal movement. Our ancestors had long flexible toes like modern apes do. But gradually these shortened to create a lever-like system that streamlines upright movement while sacrificing grip. Without your toes you'd find it difficult to walk. Nutting has a cool-down period. If there was no refractory period, the earth would drown in cum and babies. Women having periods. They lose so many vital nutrients every month and run the risk of becoming anemic. On top of this, if you are anemic you bleed more than usual. WTF stupid idea. Testicles. I understand the reason they are not inside the body, but damn. Could we not have evolved some type of bollock armor by now? Edit. Well, this was unexpected. Thanks for the doubloons. I get with all the upvotes on this. We need to send a written complaint to the male design department to design some kind of scrotal ribcage. Like a nice purple velvet crown royal bag. Edit. Thank you very much u/strongo for the gold. Cancer for sure. Also teeth. Let's make every bone in the body self-healing. Except the ones that are under constant bombardment of outside agents. Those we'll just leave to their own devices, and if they start to wither away, then oh well. Cancer isn't really our fault. It's nature's. If you have trillions of cells that multiply very often, then eventually one of the billions of lines of code that each cell has to copy perfectly will contain an error. Plus all the stuff humans choose to do that increases the chances of an error. Secondary drowning. Can also be called dry drowning. Basically, if you are drowning and survive, you still have some water in your lungs. Your body seizes a foreign body and will put mucus there to remove it. Then the body will see the mucus as a foreign body and throw more mucus at it. Ending with you drowning in fluid that your body put in your lungs because there was fluid in your lungs. Ducking stupid if you ask me. WTF. No valve on the balls. Explain. Allergies. It's just a freaking strawberry. Sure. Body. E. 2 things I've learned from these comments. 1. Allergies suck. And 2. Allergies aren't bad. Oh, you just ate a peanut? Better close your airway to prevent you from dying. Aliens taking notes from this post so they know our weaknesses. I nervously straightened out how I was sitting after reading this one. Haha. I remember in an osteology class, we were asked to guess which ankle was a gorilla's versus a human's. Naturally, many of us, including me, picked the more robust ankle as the gorilla's. But we were dead wrong. Humans have extremely strong and substantial ankles because we're on just 2 feet all day long. This comes at the cost of making them less flexible. However, running the male urethra through the prostate gland. At least this way you can use pain urinating to help diagnose prostate problems. Also, I'm not too partial to spontaneous ejaculation. Why don't limbs grow back? Why do ears have to pick up so much wind noise when you're running? Could be improved. That our brains are way too big for our mother's hips. Father John Misty. A lot of these are just harmless leftovers or compromises that are actually better than the alternative despite their flaws. But can we stop and talk about that our spines are literally not designed to be upright in any way? Well, actually the discs in between the vertebrae are incredibly great at dealing with compression. Lateral forces, however, not so much. Women having to bleed and hurt for about a week every month just because they didn't get pregnant. Humans really need to be redesigned. The breathing hole and the food hole are stupid clothes. The second we became bipedal it all went downhill. The neck is a mess. The appendix in the human body is like the thermal exhaust port on the Death Star. Common misconception. The appendix is basically a backup battery of sorts for your intestinal bacteria. If your levels drop too low, such as after a bout of the Taco Bell shits, they can help repopulate your intestines more quickly than if it weren't present. It won't kill ya if you lose it, but it makes recovering from things like food poisoning or cholera a bit easier on ya. Ducking like and subscribe.